Hey, this is Gabe. Welcome back to the second part of this series. We're going to do the body in this section, and this is what it looks like so far. After I had cast it and after the first problems that I had from the initial blank of the acrylic resin breaking out on me, so I flooded the blank with CA on both sides and let that resin all the way through, let it dry on its own without any accelerator. And I had initially just wrapped it with some tape, and that's why you see those edges. That's actually the CA glue, not tape on there, so I wanted to make sure there was quite a bit of glue, as you can see how thick that layer was of just CA glue. So now I'm just going to sand those flat and then sand it all square off camera, and then after that we'll come right back. All right, we're back. I took about 10 minutes to sand that down, not very long, not very pretty, but it's the end result that I'm looking for. This is the bottom end, so this is the end that's going to be facing the cap. So anyway, with this we'll go ahead and chuck it in the lathe and drill it out next. So I have the blank mounted in the 4-jaw chuck. I like the 4-jaw chuck because it supports the blank all the way around on all 4 sides. We have a 27/64. If you had seen the other videos that I made on the cap and body on the sleeves, I said I was going to do this with a piece of tape and write down the drill bit size. That way all I have to do is grab this, since this is just my template, and if I know if I make this just like this will work for me every time. So this is going to be drilled out for this, and then this would technically just slide inside there. So I wanted to stop, move this forward so I can support the bottom end of the blank. You can see right there with the 4 jaws, and that way I won't have any blowout of that acrylic. So that's just a little thing that I just came up with on the fly. So advance that in there, and then we'll start it up again. Okay, I got a little bit of chip out, just very little on the inside. I probably should have stopped, flipped it around and drilled it on both sides, but you know, not a big deal. You won't see that anyway. So anyway, happy with the way that came out. I think adding the extra CA glue top and bottom, and being that that is a bit thicker than what I had on the other side, that's good. That's going to work out very well for what we're trying to do for the body. Okay, now let's go over the body itself. Normally when I start a pen, I like to have at least 24 inches of ebonite in case I make a mistake, which I often do. So I like to have double the amount necessary, and typically if you don't make any mistakes, you only need about 10 inches of ebonite to make a really nice pen the correct way. So being that this is all the amount that I have left, and I actually had less than 10 inches when I started this pen, so I'm going to have to do things differently. I'm going to have to make this in components, and it's very similar to what we did on the last pen I made. Not like how I made the cap, how I made the finial for the cap, where it just inserted. So anyway, I'm going to do something a little bit different, being that this is just going to be a rollerball pen and it's not for sale. I'm just going to wing it on this one and do things, I would say, the wrong way, but if I had enough material, I would do it the way I'm supposed to do it. So you have to bear with me on this build, and anyway, everything should work out fine doing it the way I want to do it. So to make the first part of this body, which is going to be where the cap screws together, I'm just going to make from the blue line forward. So I need enough here for the cap screw, 1/4 inch for this piece right here, and then this much to insert inside, and this will go inside the wood blank, and then we'll make pretty much the same thing for the other end, except it won't have threads. So I'll be making something like this for the other end, and I'll come back when that is done. So for right now, I need 1 inch, which is this line, and then I'll need another like 3/4 inch for the other side. So this is just enough, with just a little bit left over, maybe 1/2 inch or so left over for me to play with in case there's any problems. So I'm going to go ahead and part this off right here real quick, and then we'll start with that. So I need to turn this down to 14 millimeters, which I'm just taking my 14 millimeter double start tap, and I'm measuring this right here, and then I'm going to transfer that measurement to here when I turn that down using the parting tool. Starting to take shape. We got those threads cut. I still haven't drilled it out and tapped it yet, but we're going to take the cap that we made and then just test that out and see how good that looks. That looks pretty darn good. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And if I scoot that all the way down, now I have a little bit of a reference here. Now with this being screwed all the way down, I can save some time in the future by just, when I glue this together, I can take this line right here and I'll put an arrow so I can see it. And I'll know that this is where my wood blank will be lined up from here to here. So it's sort of like putting together in a kit pen. I'll know where, when I glue it, I won't have to resand and fit the cap in the future. Okay, off camera, I made the 2 end pieces that I needed, and you can see that's dimpled for the end. I didn't drill this one out. I need to test it first with some ink and see how long it's going to be. This is the blank. This is the side where this is going to go in like that, and then that arrow is going to align up with this one here on the bottom, I believe, and then this is going to go on the end like that. And then I will check the cap first and just be sure that that's going to align correctly, before I glue this in place. And then if everything is good and the ink aligns up or the depth is okay, it should be, because previously our offline I also made the section that's going to go in here, that's going to hold our Parker refill. That will I have to see how long the ink is, but it should be, yeah, I don't have to do anything to that in there. I'll probably still have to cut a little piece of wood and make that longer on the inside. So anyway, once I get all this glued up and put together, we'll come back again and check it all out. Okay, we're back, and the following day the body is dry, and I realized yesterday after I glued this in that I was missing something. If I look at the cap, I realized I forgot to put some purple art here at the bottom. I had made it, same thing, a long grain 27/64 drilled out, but I forgot to put that in there and make an allowance for a longer tenon on top of that. But you know, woodworking, pen turning is all improvisation, so I'm just going to turn this down to 27/64, slide this over the top, and then with the little offcut that I have left, like I said, I like to have a lot left. This is drilled out to 27/64, and then I'll just cap that, and I already have it dimpled for the back side, and then we'll come back when this is turned down, and then we'll assemble the whole thing and then re-glue it and let that set. Now that that is turned down, I have my purple heart here. That'll go over the top like that, and then this right there, and like I said, that back side's already dimpled, so we just have to glue it up, put it under tension, and then just let it sit overnight, and we'll be ready to go. Just like before, I'm going to be using this Gorilla super glue.
And I'm almost out.
And we'll let that set. We're back, and this is dry. It looks really good, and we're going to turn this body down to about 15 millimeters all the way across, and where this line here is, once we get it turned down, I'll cut that end off right about there, and then that'll be the bottom of the pen, obviously. And this is the side where the cap is, right here, because it has the tenon here where it screws on. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And I'm using carbide. When I'm starting out, I like to take shallow cuts to try and prevent tear out. You see there's a little bit of tear out right here, but as I go along, that I shouldn't have any more tear out with that. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, I have the outside turned down to 15 millimeters here and right here on the very end. And I wanted to stop, check out the blank, see if there's any gaps anywhere, and I don't see anything significant. There's some very minor gaps. So I just want to flood the blank with CA, let that set overnight, and then come back to it tomorrow so we can see how it looks. It's been a minute since I've had a chance to get back out here, and so far everything looks pretty good. I'm about the right diameter here of 15 millimeters, just a little bit more, but it gives me some extra room to part that off, what's left of it, or to shave it off and make it nice and smooth before I do my final sanding. The groove here from the parting tool, that is the end of my pen right here, and then after I get this down to shape, rough shape, then I'll cut that off and then contour the bottom. So we'll go ahead and get this started next, again using carbide for that, and then we'll come back as soon as we're ready for the next step. We're back, and you can see how that's coming together. One thing I didn't anticipate on is the thinner I made this, the closer this is actually coming together, because the wood separation, so to speak, isn't very great because it's real thin, and that is a solid piece of a butterfly key. And it looks like I'm a little offside, so that's kind of messed up, but kind of learning the whole process as we go. Like I said, this is brand new for me, and I've never seen it done, and this is the way you do things, trial and error. But I'm just going to sand this, and then I'll cut the end off right here, and then we'll just put some CA on it to finish it, and do the micro mesh and see how it goes. We're back, and we got that sanded. Other than this part right here being a little too thin, and it's off balance, obviously. If it wasn't, these would be the same on both sides, and it would look really amazing. But I messed that one up. Anyway, but overall, I'm really happy with the way that looks. For a concept pen, so far so good. We're back. We're ready to assemble this. I measured the distance from this to this and the bottom of the inside of the pen, which is about the middle of that butterfly key. So I cut a little section of a pencil, nothing fancy. We'll drop that inside there. I had to confirm, you can't see it, but I had to confirm that it's laying flat the correct way inside. This is just a Parker refill. Comes with any standard pen kit, or you can buy these over the counter at any Walmart or Staples or any office supply store. So I wanted to go with just a Parker refill. That way it's nice and easy, and my wife likes the blue ink anyway, and she likes the way they write. So you can see how good that looks, and it's very comfortable to hold. I'm left-handed, otherwise you'll be in the right hand for someone like you, so you see how that would look. It lays in the hand really nice. It's not heavy. Even though it's bulky, I tried to turn it down a little bit thinner, and that's why I had that issue right there. So the next time I make one like this, I will use a different set of butterfly keys for the bottom. I'll make a smaller set so they're not as wide. They look good for the cap, but not for the body, proportion wise. Only because this is turned down a little bit thinner than the last pen I made. So we'll screw that on there. This is a double start, obviously. Threads are a little tight. Threads are a little tight, but you can see what that looks like. You get the basic idea. My wife won't have the cap on it anyway, but overall I think it's a nice looking pin, good concept. So I appreciate you watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please take a minute and subscribe, and give us a like. It really helps out a lot. Thank you. Have a good day. Hey, this is Gabriel Castro. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. You can click on the link right here and subscribe. You can watch a video series right here or the latest video right here.